Welcome to another episode of Peers Over Beers, your favorite digital and social evangelist podcast, with your industry veteran hosts, Michael Sandoval and Chris Tetzel. This podcast starts now. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Peers Over Beers. I'm one of your hosts, Michael Sandoval.
And I'm your second host, Chris
How are you today? Good.
I'm pretty
just
good.
ready
How
for
about
the
you?
weekend. I have, there's a weird thing about this week, which is we have Veterans Day off. Some folks do, some folks don't, because it's a float holiday for some people. But it was yesterday, so it's just weird to have like a day off and then have to come back to work the next day on a Friday. But I have a lot of my colleagues just said, I'm just going to take Friday off. So it's a very quiet office, I should say.
Yeah, we didn't have off yesterday, but we had a bit of news that's really cool for us. We had we announced $120 million in funding for RelTO, so that's super exciting. And then they announced, well, hey, we're going to give you an extra day off on Thanksgiving, so you'll be off Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Yeah, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
They're going to give us
wow.
Yeah, and they're going to give us the entire week off at the end of the year, which that's generally doesn't happen.
So that's great. Oh, everybody gets a break then. That's good.
Yeah, we need it.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's around this time where it hits, like the entire year. Like, I'm knackered. And I've always said that like 10th, the 11th is really much the end of the year. I think I've said that one time I was at Rexel too. We'll probably have one more good week of getting shit done, as they say. But then Thanksgiving hits, and then there's that between Christmas. Everybody's having their Christmas
might have
parties,
a week or two to do some stuff.
It's just not going to happen.
But,
yeah. But alas, well, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, and digital slows down. If you think about it, people stop looking for work stuff that we do on Google, right? Like, so, your views and things like that go down, and users, and so then you got to explain it.
It was something called Christmas. That's what it was, sir.
Like, okay. Christmas and Thanksgiving for the U.S. Well, what can we do to make it go
options
better?
To increase it. Cancel Christmas.
We can sell some stuff on Black stuff on Black Friday.
Have a Black Friday sale.
But we're a B2B company.
Security products, 20% off. Oh, no, I'm sorry, data products. Yeah, that's right.
Data products.
Used to be security, that's right.
Used to be security. I don't work in cybersecurity anymore. But
for us, it's the opposite. We have our highest views during the fourth quarter, which makes sense, right? Do I have money in my account? Which I think is hilarious. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, B2C or, something like that is going to be higher probably in November, December, rather than lower. Than January probably tops down. It goes back, back down in a big way.
For us, to work with our vendors, we actually have a lockdown. But first of November, we can't do anything until the other side of the year because they want to stabilize the servers, obviously, for work, obviously. But yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Well, last time we talked, we were building out a spreadsheet about resources. And I thought, well, we can kind of walk it through while we're online. So we'll see if we do the video, but at a minimum, you'll be able to see the end product of the spreadsheet. Maybe you can, those who can follow along and listen to us as I do it. But I thought we would kind of walk through this. So as a review from last time, we're looking at how do we estimate resources for a growing community? And so, well, there's kind of three things you have to look into. One is, what do you want it to look like? So the aspiration. Then we're going to look clearly at resources, but we have to transition resources that are shared. So that's going to be a cost at the beginning, but then it'll turn into a salaried position over time, and we'll figure that out in a moment. Then there are like software costs that we were going to kind of maintain and think about. And these may increase based on views, but that's something you can kind of manage through. So that's where we started. Last time I said, well, we'll put in some aspirational elements here to begin with, but what on membership, let's just do some big kind of blocks of stuff, right? So um, if you were to think, like, what would be a vision to have total membership drive to? Should we say 10,000?
Yeah, I think by
Okay.
year
Yeah,
five it's
yeah.
going to be way more than that. Because look, I could hit probably close to
Hmm.
2,000 the first year, right? And then you would hope that if you got resources, you should be able to
Yeah, so
just
let's
ramp it
be
way
really
up to
ambitious.
more than.
Let's do it a 10 factor increase, right? If we do year one, two, let's just do year one at a 5K. And then if we were to,
Well, that'd be tough.
oh, is it 50?
5K,
Wow.
but maybe okay.
I'm sorry. What was it? What was it?
You think
It really does.
it
So
all depends on your
I'm trying to
company.
think of
Like how
maybe as
many.
an estimate. 5K. That's a lot. Let's do 50. No, let's do 10. Yeah, still is a lot. Depends on what you're doing. Yeah, let's do this. Be conservative. Take this to another 15. Double that. Double that. And this would be 100. That seems like a growth curve. A little bit like pop, then double, level off. We'll just use that, right? Yeah. And so
Yeah, just
today,
use it for now. It's
if you
fine.
were to hit that many members, you're going to definitely need a few people. So we'll definitely need the director. We're going to need at least one community manager.
Yep.
We were talking about having a half of a marketing manager, a content creator for sure, maybe a half. Moderators will need maybe a
Makes
half of a
sense.
moderator. A technical SME, you almost need that now. One. Data analyst, maybe
Yeah.
not so much,
True.
but this would be, I'm going to put 0.25. Email marketing, we'll do 0.25. Yeah, shared, exactly.
It's all
Shared.
shared.
So anything in the points, we're going to do shared until we get to one. Project manager, that's interesting. We should probably think about part of this is what you do. So almost the percentages, the points are the things that you do today. Like this is part of your job today. You're part project manager. You're
Yeah.
part, oops, you're part
Yeah.
project manager. Oops, 0.25. You're part product manager. You're part community manager. You're part moderator. You definitely have someone on the tech side to do the subject matter expert. You spend some time on the data. You spend some time emailing, right? That's kind of how I see this.
And I spend
Yeah,
time
in
on
a
the
sense,
SEO.
this could
Right.
almost be what you do today. And
Mm.
in a sense, we can increase this maybe by 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. And I know we're going to get the dead zone here. I don't know why this keeps doing that. Okay, so we'll talk about that in a little bit. So now that we jump to 10, we're going to add 10K. I think you still need that directorship, clearly. Community managers, you may now go to still probably one. One, yeah, one.
Yeah.
Marketing manager, I still think a 0.5 here. Content creator, you'll probably need now a full one.
And this is year
Yeah,
two, is what you have it
one
at
to
2 to 3,
two. Yeah,
going from
going
two to
two to three.
three.
Yeah, yeah. Moderators, you'll need now
Two to
probably
three.
a
Yeah.
full person. Technical, you still have your one. Data analyst is probably still going to be the same. Probably email,
Point
still the
five.
same. Project, probably still the same. And webinar manager. Oops, how about webinar manager? Probably a 0.5.
Yeah, that should be. I
Yeah,
mean,
you probably
I'm
now
doing
at
one a week,
one
but yeah,
to a one. Let's do
on
year
year two.
three.
Yep.
This is still the same. I think you'll need two now. Community managers. We should probably go across this way. Well, let's keep going down. Marketing manager, I think you're now increasing that to 0.75. Content, you may need, let's keep it at 1 point. Well, it's difficult to do the one. Let's actually grow this to two. Let's do moderators. I think we're going to have to shared service this stuff. We'll do the one.
Yeah.
And
So this is going from year
yeah,
3 to
so I'm going to
4.
do 1.5 for right now. Technical SME may need now 2. Data analyst will probably now start adding the 1 here. This is probably going to go up to 0.75. SEO manager, you probably now are shared services at a 0.5. Project manager, you probably now need a 1. And webinar manager, maybe 2. And you probably could carry that 2
Yeah.
all the way until you get to here. Yeah, to year 5. Now let's
To year
look. So
5.
this is where, right here is where your growth curve is going to come. So we could probably add, um,
So he's saying year 4 to
yeah,
5 is
so
where the
if we
growth curve is
start
coming.
thinking about it in terms of, senior community director, where this becomes a 1,
Yep.
or maybe this is where you have the 1. This maybe is 2. This now is 3. Community managers. I'm sorry. This is still the 1. No, this is still. I'm sorry. 2, 2. This becomes 3. Leave that at 3. I'm sorry. When I say this, we're talking about community managers 3 and moving that to 3. Marketing manager. Now you have a 1. Probably still 1. Um,
So it's going to be a hard peers over beers to follow, I think, Michael. So what we'll do is we'll make a note to make sure that you follow along,
yeah, and it's so difficult.
with
Yeah,
the
because I keep
spreadsheet
talking about it and I'm
during
talking
this
through it, and
particular.
I'm sorry about that. But I thought this would be a good way to kind of do a little bit of spreadsheet fun. So we're moving our content creators from a 2 to a 3. Moderators, definitely 2, maybe 3. Uh, Technical
Into year
2. We'll
4, from
keep
4 to
that maybe at
5.
2. You could probably do a 3. Maybe reduce a content creator to a 2. Data analyst, for sure, we'll keep at 1. Marketing, probably now 1. SEO manager, 0.5. 1.
I still
Yeah,
think that's shared,
I
between.
think for project manager, we'll carry out as a 1. Technical architect, maybe is where you do that here. And webinar manager stays the same. So that's kind of the way it looks, right? And what I'm going to do, so if you're curious what that means, so anything that is a 0.5 or so, or anything less, is going to be a shared service, right? And I can, so and let me just kind of go back over here and say that some of the things that we were shared services were marketing manager. Let me do this again. What I'm doing is I'm taking a copy. I'm going to, oops. I'm just, yeah, you're right. This is going to be a difficult, what is it called? A difficult one to peers over beers to listen through.
Peers over
Yeah, to
beers
follow.
to follow.
But let's see. Maybe it's going to be one of those magic things you get to realize. Insert copy shells. When you see it all done. All right. So now what I'll do is anything that's a 0.5 or anything, I'm going to delete because those are your shared services, right? And so what I'm doing is just deleting the whole numbers from here. And I'll tell you where the magic comes in. I'll do a 0.5. I'll show you what I'm doing here in a moment. And I'm just removing whole numbers because we're going to get down to costs here. And then we'll kind of end it there. Oh, this is probably the most, this may be one of the most boring peers over beers because all I hear is me typing.
Yeah, it'd be a tough one, but I think this can be helpful. I think one way or another, even if they can just see this as um, you know,
as a format, right?
a tool. Yeah, I mean, you can just click on it and you'll be able to see the tool and how we kind of came up with, year 1 through 5 on what are some of the resources that we'll
Yep.
need and who are they. And I mean, you can change the resources like when you look at advocacy, and that's going to be a big part of what we do in the future with community, is
Yep.
this kind of advocacy piece, which kind of goes into that marketing area. I mean, you can change the name of
And
it
this is where
and
we
all that
get to
kind of stuff. But
play costs, right? So if we were to contract a marketing manager, let's just say that cost is 100K per year. Right? A content
yeah,
manager, we'll say that's 75K, and these are contract rates, right? Moderator maybe 60, and I'm guessing. Well, that you can kind of go look at some of these subject matter expert for sure,
and you could go to India and probably get them for
right?
twenty
You
thousand
know, there's kind of
dollars,
that
right? So
that kind of goes on. Email marketing, probably knows, and these are not salary rates; these are more like contract rates. SEO manager,
yeah,
project manager, and what I'm typing in are just my assumptions here. And so if these are all
yeah, it's just
dollars and cents for the year, then all I am doing here is saying this is equal to this times this. And when I'm saying this is year one plus the salary rate, and that's your cost for contract one, two, three, four, five for the year. Oops, did I do that right? Oops, no, no, no. Da, 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 da. So what I'm just doing is mucking with the formula just to make sure that I'm doing it right. So D is dollar sign. I think that's it.
and you'll
I know
never
this
see
again. This is probably
what
going to
he's
be
doing.
the most boring.
But extremely
Yeah, it's
beneficial at the end of
true.
the day.
Oh, Mike, I
People love
agree.
tools, man. I do, especially already templates that are built. You know who does a really good job of that? Is Brian Oblinger on his podcast. So if you go to his site, he has tons of really great templates on his um, podcast site.
Right,
What
right,
is it?
right.
In Before the Lock. It's pretty impressive what he's
Well,
doing. So
so this may sound kind of weird, but in a sense, what I just did is computed your contract costs for the year. Oh, that should be 75K. So just if you were to go to from a budget perspective, right? Just if you were to hire those individuals at part-time rates or whatever, just the effort is 186K a year as an estimate. And let me think about it. For all the people you would be kind of quote using, that seems fair to be honest, just from resource perspective, right?
yeah,
The last thing I'll do is see how much time we have. We've been, yeah, we'll do this real quickly. Is to put in here. This would the estimates here would be just on salaries now, and the salary I'm going to use including HR rates, which I always do as a 0.3 as a 30% increase. So if you have 100K, you're at 130, right? And it's going to be dependent upon where you are in the globe. But let's say community manager, what oh, this is where we get to guess. Um, what 170, 120? Yeah, and then marketing
yeah,
manager, I'm just going to hit at 100. Content creator probably is at 80.
same 100.
What did you
You
say?
think they're less, really? I think they're still 100. Content creators
Okay.
are starting to become
Moderators, I
expensive.
think we can do more like 75. Technical SME, well, I think that's where you get they're technical in nature. Probably the same with our technical analyst. Email marketing, and I'm just putting in numbers in here. These can just change. You can look up these rates relatively. Yeah, I'm just making it up,
Yeah,
right?
you're just making it up.
Um, where was I? Yeah, so oops, let me just do this real quick. Project manager, I'm gonna put up one technical architect and marketing manager. And then just for fun, we'll do this. Josh Community will do 150 for kicks and giggles. And a senior director at one, right? And per year, I'm going to do 2% increase per year.
That's a banking
Well,
increase. I
the
don't
the
really.
formula you can, oops,
I guess you're
you
used to
can
being in
change
the
the
bank.
formula. Yeah.
Yeah, I know it. I'm just saying you're used
I
to
know exactly.
the bank 2%. That's all
All
you
right,
get.
so
Sorry,
it's
should be
equal to
5 probably in my industry. Up to 5.
this times that. Oops, I'm sorry. This. Hold on. Let's do that one more time. This is equal to that times, and I'm sorry, everybody hears that with the this and that times 1 plus that close. All right. Let me just do a couple things. That is a dollar sign there, dollar sign there, and a dollar sign there. Yay ho.
Do you know how to
Yeah.
do VLOOKUPs and all that stuff?
All right. So there we
Yeah,
go.
I need to learn all that stuff.
Let me just do this real quick. And we'll do this real quick. And we can just do a quick sum. Theoretically, these are the budgets for your growing community, just on resources alone.
So how do you get them? What's the proof?
And from here, you massage, right? You have to kind of think about a few things, but at least the formulas are done. So, for example, this we could be very ambitious on the amount of people we have here. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry, I forgot to take out these percentages. I'm sorry, the points. Remember, they're now on the bottom. So anything that's a point or
Yeah,
anything less is so those numbers do seem high.
and nobody's gonna know
Yep,
what you're looking at. So
yep. So
talking about.
this is going to be now a 1 because I did put a 0.5 down below. Okay. All right, that seems more reasonable. Yeah, so just on resource alone. So the next thing we had to cover is costs of the server license per year, right? And then with these resources, this is what you should be driving. That amount of
Got it. Oh, like
yeah.
if you get these resources and you have, X number of
Mm-hmm.
people joining your
Mm-hmm.
community and registrations
If you
and
want to
then
now
some
do
other
an ROI, once
things.
you get the total bottom number, that's going to be some cost. Let's just say this first year cost is going to be close to $1 million, which doesn't, I mean, seems a little on the high side. Um, but there's a lot of assumptions. I think there's a lot of resource here that we probably don't need. That means
Yeah.
that if I think that is high. So let's just use the 500,000 metric. That means that every user, is costing the community $100. So if every community member costs 100, that's the cost. But what is the benefit to that? And that's what we have to look at.
Yeah.
So if we know that it costs an active user, $100, but yet we know that if one person comes into the call center and asks for a question costs $200, then the long stretch would be we cut our support costs in half. You see, kind of like that's where I'm making
Mm.
the judgment calls with regards to that. Anyway, it was a
Got
long
it.
way to an end of a lot of
Cool.
clicking, but that's how I would estimate it.
No, this is good.
I
Make
hope
sure you
10
share
minutes
it
will
with me
get
and
to you.
shoot me the email.
But
And we
yeah,
can start working
but
on Google
the thing I would
Sheets
add
from here on
here,
out.
what folks can't see, I'm kind of highlighting, is the ambition. So I remember it's one way to plan for success. Like these are the resources, and yeah, I would tweak the resource. Like, oh, I don't know if I need this
Yeah.
many people. And this is where you can do this. You start to play with it, thinking, how am I going to grow it? But then you say, okay, with these people, what is that going to drive? I'm going to get this much through organic search. I'm going to get this through much
What is that going
unique
to give me?
views,
Yeah.
which could be another exercise. But this is how I've done it before, and it's just and it really at some level it's part guess, but you do have some data, right? The data of your previous
Yeah.
experiences, how many people you had, what did that drive, and then think about how much stress that created you and
Yeah.
others, and you can kind of compensate that with the amount of people. Anyway,
Cool. I mean, this is really good. I think for us, and I think it got us a template on how to build the resources. So I think this will be important for the audience to know that hey, there's a really cool template out for
yep.
resources and how you kind of look at resources. There's probably a little bit more work we can do on. I say we, Michael, can do
I know your budget's there. Like, I don't know, it's a lot of
specifically
numbers to be
on
started. I don't
hey,
know.
just let me insert number and I get this.
Yeah,
And I just need to be
I
able to
think from here
explain
you
it
just need to
to
change
my
salary
bosses.
and change the
Um,
quantity. Uh,
What I think also is
that's
kind
the
of
big
what
one
do we
here.
want to
So great, you
drive?
have those people. What
Like
is it going
if
to
we
do?
just say
Yeah,
exactly, and so I've got
and
to
we'll
get
do a
to
little
that
work on
point.
that
So
one.
maybe
Okay,
we'll do a little
great.
work on next time. I don't know,
All right, sir.
but
As
all
always,
right. Well,
always
Michael, this
fun.
was good.
The spreadsheet exercises were kind of my favorite. But thank you very much for listening. I'm one of your hosts, Michael
Oh, I know
Zangwill.
they are.
All right, Chris, talk to you later.
And I'm Chris Detzel.